Hey everybody. So I don't really go live that much. So I'm not going to sit here and wait for a bunch of the people to chime in. Hello everybody. My name is Nikki D. Welcome to the Nikki D show. And I just kind of want to put my 2 cents in the way I felt this whole thing was going down from the gate, right? So my thing was this when it came down to the Diddy show. I'm also going to be adjusting my light while we're sitting here because the light is changing outside and, well, I don't want to be looking too crazy. There we go. A little bit more of a natural light. So anyway, so when it first happened, right, I was like, who has the press at their house already, either before the feds get there or while the feds are there, basically trying to get a shot of everything that's going on, right? So automatically I'm like, come on now. It was a show from the beginning, right? And we all don't know where it stems from. We all know speculation. We all speculate that it might have been a Diageo or whatever that company is that he wanted to have more percentage of, where he was wanting to push the brand further out into communities that were not urban. He wanted to do more of suburban communities. He wanted to do more Hampton life. Even though he throws his own parties in the Hampton, he doesn't really push Ciroc unless it's his party, right? So he wanted a different crowd, right? So having said that, going back to the house when it first gets raided, there's a show. SWAT, whoever these people are, Homeland Security, y'all are standing around like just chit-chatting, having a good old time, because you know why? It's not that serious. And then for me, I feel like when the camera said action, that's when everything started to really take place, right? You run in the house, you raid the crib, then you pull the boys out, put them in handcuffs. Why? Why? Only for later on for us to see that you basically have overcharged this man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's always been a show. Go back and look at the pictures. Look at the tank. The tank itself looks crazy to me. It's brand spanking new, like you never used it. Why do you have a tank going to this man's house? Did y'all have a tank going to Jeffrey Epstein's house? Did y'all use a tank going to Harvey Weinstein's house? No. Y'all didn't even use a tank for R. Kelly. Shit, he just went to jail, went to trial, and y'all said, oh, go ahead and put him in there. So that's why I know powerful black men have it worse than the average black man. You know, somebody like Diddy will have it worse than R. Kelly because he's a powerful man, right? And here, let me just put this out here. Disclaimer. Absolutely in no shape, form, or fashion am I condoning what he's done. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in violence on any side. So if any one of you women are running around hitting a man and he hits you back, that's on you. And sir, if you're hitting a woman and you could avoid that shit, that's on you. Pull that back, okay? So initially, you know, he's denied a bond or whatever, because not for nothing, when you think about all the stories that happened, he sounds like a dangerous, dangerous person, right? It looks like it. But then we fast forward all the way to the trial. And we start to hear these testimonies. And listen, I know for sure you guys heard the same things that I heard. You heard Cassie talk about how she actually liked and loved Diddy. She did want an actual natural relationship with him. And a year in, she was doing freak offs and she didn't really like it. So at that point, why are you still there if you didn't like it? She wasn't stopped at the hotel at that point. Now at that point, a year in, it was still all good. But if you're not getting the relationship you want, and now you're turning into basically what he got charged for and found guilty for, a prostitute, then really that's kind of what you are. And this is no disrespect to her, but this is what they found him guilty on. And one of the charges was her, and one of the charges was Jane Doe. Both for transporting prostitutes. That's crazy by itself. And that's what the jury found. So while we're all sitting here being judges of somebody's life, and we're tight, we want it to be the way we want it to be. We want her to be mad because we're mad. We want him to get locked up because we want him locked up. But we can't override the law. We can't override the instructions when it comes to the jury. We can be tight about the fact that the man put his hands on her, but that's what a lot of y'all are mad at. Y'all are mad because he didn't get thrown underneath the jail for beating her up. Guess what? She too could have called the police then. Oh, no, 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 I know. He's too powerful. He paid everybody off. He just had a whole RICO trial and she was the star witness. So how many people did he really pay off? And how do you not know, if you didn't know now, that Mr. Combs was not bigger than the program, baby? I get it if you saw one cop and two cops and he got all these people in his arsenal. Guess what? He didn't have the feds in his arsenal. And somehow or another, and it was evident that once Cassie put that lawsuit through, and Diddy, on you, bro, you should have just paid her the money. You knew what you did. You knew what you did. You should have just paid her the freaking money and moved on with your life. But sometimes we have to get a hard lesson. I think this is more than that. I think this is definitely a hard lesson for him. But going back to old girl, and everybody's like, she was so scared. She was so scared. After a certain amount of time, you're part of the problem. Do you want better for yourself or not? I have friends who are victims. I've been hit by a man before, and guess what I did? I hit his ass back. I even hit a pew-pew on him. Don't play with me. Oh, everybody's not tough. Everybody don't feel bullshit. We also heard her threatening somebody, wanting to kill them. Telling them if she ain't going to do it, but somebody else going to do it. Because she don't want them releasing a tape. I'll kill you. Y'all remember all of that good stuff y'all heard? Y'all remember the texts of she wanted the freak offs. Y'all remember the information of there was times when Diddy was trying to get her off drugs. There was times when he called the drug dealers and told the drug dealers stop selling her drugs. But what did she do? She figured out a way to go get it. Oh no, but he already coerced her and by now she's addicted. But he also is the guy who's trying to fix it. But no, we just want to stick to the video we saw. And see, that video was not him dragging her back into a freak off. That was a fight they was already having, right? And a lot of y'all up there so judgmental and knowing damn well your backyard is not clean. And this is not me being pro Diddy, but I'm trying to show y'all how at the end of the day, the simplest things that we do in life, you mean to tell me that nobody on here has ever flew nobody out or got flued out and thrown a couple of dollars to come hang out and party? Possibly became your boyfriend or your girlfriend after that, or just had a good old time. It just so happens this man has a lot of money. He could flew him out and fly him out and flew him out and leave him there and pick him up and put him anywhere else he want to do with him. So yes, very powerful. But at the same time, I'm not just going to sit here and be like, oh, he's the worst person in the world I've ever met in my life. We still haven't seen the Epstein list. And have not, right? But black people in general, we love being so focused on taking each other down that it's crazy to me. Like this one blogger, one podcaster was on the other day, and she had a guest on her podcast, and she was so adamant about being right that she wouldn't even let him talk, and he was breaking down the simplest points. The simplest points. And she just kept rolling her eyes and I'm going to let you talk because you don't want to hear what the man has to say. Because again, you're fixated on what you believe is really the case. But guess what? And today, you were proven wrong. He did not traffic anybody. There was no arson. There was nothing to prove it. They still had evidence of somebody else in the car. There was so many other things that were going on in the trial that the prosecution could not prove that this man actually was a whole RICO case. They couldn't do it. You have assistants that were testifying. Yes, they all said at the end of the day, we did what we did, and it was part of our job, and we didn't want to lose our job. Like Capricorn, for instance. Capricorn. Girl, you've been in this game long enough to know that you could get around certain things. You, my friend, back then was making, what, $56,000 a year for that? Honey, you could have went somewhere and been an executive outside of the industry. Yeah, you could have. You could have went somewhere and been an executive outside of the industry. But you know what? A lot of y'all are fixated on this lifestyle, and y'all don't want to admit that. And you have to blame somebody for you not being successful. You have to blame somebody for that. We get it. You didn't have any place to stay. Your kid was sick. We get it. I was going through some shit too. We've all gone through some shit. But guess what we got to do? We got to figure it out. We have to figure it out. You feel me? Like, old girl was going through it, but she ain't had no problems when them double doors, when them doors was opening up when she was pulling up on Rodeo Drive. She didn't need Diddy to take her to Chanel because she could go to Chanel herself because she had the card. She had the money. She was lit. And for me, I feel like if she wanted to leave, and I'll probably lose some followers behind it because people probably don't. They're like, oh, he was a monster. I get it. But if she wanted to leave, she could have left. You know when she left? When she got tired. Now it's time for her to make money off of it. Because you know why? During the testimony, you know what the ladies were crying about? That everybody else was getting more than they were getting. She wanted to be the number one girl in his life. He made it clear that Kim Porter was. Contrary to what y'all believe to happen with that as well too. Because Kim Porter's best friend has told that story. That even her kids knew she was sick at the time. They were all around her at the time. And it's a lot of stuff that people speculate from the background and don't even know what the hell is going on. But because we so want things to be wrong by nature, we have a problem with that. And we have to get past that part in our lives where we always looking for the worst thing to be. But the truth is, Cassie wanted to be the wife. You don't know the story where Cassie walked in and while Diddy was talking shit to Kim, Cassie was too? Yeah, bitch, now I'm the one. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, you wanted it so bad you got it. And Jane Doe, oh my God. I ain't never seen somebody so in love with somebody in my life outside of the first one. She was so in love with him. All she kept talking about was how she loved him. She even made up some wild story about him hanging her over the freaking balcony for 5 minutes. You also went out to Las Vegas and decided to trick off in front of Kanye and Rick Ross and them. Like, y'all had a whole prostitution ring going on and y'all was all good with it. Y'all was all contracted. Y'all were all getting apartments. Y'all all had allowances, $10,000 a month. Plus you had a baby by a very, 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 very rich rapper. You getting the child support on that. I mean, you dogged out Young Miami talking about, you text him, told him if in fact, and this is the thing to me, and this is why he was found not guilty on some of that shit. You text him while he was on vacation with Miami and told him, if you don't come back, you're not getting no more freak offs. Really? Come on. Come the fuck on. All this crying, all of this emotional baggage you're carrying. You know what that is? You can't believe you're sitting in court right now because the prosecutors told all y'all motherfuckers that sat up there, if you don't testify, I will charge you too. Because they didn't have enough to really hang this guy out to dry like they wanted to. And their star witnesses were actually the worst witnesses. That's why during jury deliberation, they asked for Cassie's testimony again. And it was like, she was complicit. So they couldn't get him on all that shit. While everybody's sitting there being bothered by what happened, they couldn't get him on it. Now, I personally think initially this was all one big sting to embarrass the man. Now we know he likes to, freak off and have men watch and watch men himself and tons of baby oil. And he loves drugs and all these other things. To me, it sounds like a bunch of fucking drug addicts living their best life with all of his money and obviously all his demands, how ill he was. But come on. I honestly believe if people want to leave, they should leave, and they can't leave. You don't know how abuse works. I'm not going to allow myself to know how it works. I'm going to try to get out of it every time. Because guess what? Cassie has a mom and a dad who raised her. So did they not love her? Did she not come from a family of love? We know Jane Doe been around the building. she that's all she do is hang out with high-end gentlemen, high-value gentlemen, shall I say. constantly in somebody's face, constantly in somebody's house, constantly on somebody's yacht, constantly at somebody's party, constantly trying to shop and get a bag or two from somebody. That's just been her story. And out of all those charges, it came down to transporting prostitutes. Yeah, all that noise, all that fussing, all that fighting, all the videos of him in the hotel doing the wild shit, all of the Kid Cudi stuff. And in the end, they just found him guilty for transporting prostitutes because the prosecution did not have enough evidence of all those other things they charged him with. And if you remember, even initially, and they were trying to, before they even got to the trial date, right, they set the trial date, but the judge told them, because it was like, oh, we're going to have proceeding discovery as well. The judge said, and will not. This is your case. We're going to get this thing done, and you better have everything in by December 31st. You wanted them, you got them. Where's your evidence at? So in the end, they got them for transporting prostitutes. And who were the prostitutes? The sex workers and the women who were sleeping with them. Now, that's not to say he shouldn't be getting charged for what he's doing. But when you think about it, a lot of y'all mofos would be in prison right now if they was really technically looking at every single thing that y'all did with the women that you date. They even try to get them on drug distribution. Here, you want one? Here, you want one? You smoking? You smoking? That's what they consider drug distribution. They tried to use the smallest technicalities. That's when you know it's bigger than a RICO. This is some contrived shit that they wanted all this time. And let me tell you something. I'm not a fan of violence of any sort, like I said. Hell, I ain't seen Puff in over 20 years. Last time I saw him, I seen him at a party in Vegas. Great time. I went to his 40th birthday party here in the city. Like, it's been spaced out. And all the experiences I've had with him since I've known him since I was, I want to say 21 maybe. When he started throwing parties at his house in the Catskills in New York and all the celebs would hang out, me and Malik Silly, God rest his soul, we would always make sure we met up at the table hockey so he could beat me every time because I really couldn't play. But it was just a fun thing to do. The drinks were there, the food was there, the pool was there. Like, we had a good time. He's always been the party boy. Always. And it's evident that he's always had some issues. So what I will say in closing, whatever the judge decides his sentence is, he gotta eat that. But what I will say, if it's not something that is so terrible that he will never get his life back, bro, we know you're an amazing, smart man, but you got some demons that you got to get rid of. And those demons are, 1, get off those drugs. 2, that power high is a little bit too high. Bring it down some. 3, really, really understand what love is. And not the love you make up, but what love really is. And pray to God that you don't have to sit there and not watch your kids grow anymore, go to any milestone events, all those things that you would love to have. Whatever you decide to do with your lifestyle, swinger, whatever the fuck, don't nobody care about that. But what I will say, bro, is get your shit together. If you get that next chance to come out and do what you're supposed to do, this was a hard head wake-up call, and I'm going to keep it a square, my man. I've known you so long that I was bothered to see you like this, but at the same time, I was also bothered to see you beating on a woman. I was also bothered to see that you were addicted to drugs. I was bothered by a few things. But what I am happy about is that no one in the process, I won't say the extreme, but in the process, in the end, people came out okay. Especially Cassie, she came off. And the other thing, you know what? I'm going to just say this real quick because I know it's like, oh, and the last thing I'm going to say. No, this is the real last thing. Jane Doe, how you going to text somebody and tell them if they don't come back from Young Miami vacation, they're not getting no more freak offs. So that right there says you was a total participant, right? Oh, she did it so she can get him back. No. How dare you say Young Miami is all ran through? Bitch. Can't be more ran through than you, honey. You was doing some wild things. And the fact that y'all was like, oh, it would make him sad. You mean to tell me you destroy your body to make a man happy? That's crazy. That's bananas. I'm going to say to all you women out there who keep chasing these powerful men, chase your own power. Chase your own power. This way, guess what? You will not need for nothing. But because somehow down the line you felt like this is the only thing that you could do, which is to date somebody with some money. Because remember, Cassie was dating Ryan Leslie, who was 3 years, who was 12 years older than her before she got to Diddy. Yeah. In the words of Zip, let's get to that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nikki D Show, and I'm always going to want to keep the culture honest. And I'm going to go ahead and tap out and say, hey, Puff, I wish you luck. Cassie, I wish you better. Jane Doe, get it together. And I hope all you other employees get to find a job somewhere down the line, because your boss is going to be in for a while. This should be a lesson to a lot of people, really.